Well, hello YouTube, how you going? It's pretty much a filler in at the moment. I'm just doing a cut. Well, I've been doing a combination of different videos. I've uploaded some as you may have previously seen. I've uploaded some over the last few weeks doing me mucking around with a couple of builds and things like that. Showing you all the different programs that I use for my gaming or specifically for gaming purposes and such. I've also been testing a fair few games with my new 4K monitor in combination with my SLI, and the frame rates are quite good. So far I've had no big real issues that I'm tripping over in that sense. Things have been really pretty even. Do have those moments where I sort of question some of that stuff. I mean, especially having to reinstall the NVIDIA experience a few times because I've had a couple of issues with the mic. But then I've reinstalled the NVIDIA experiences, and I found it was an issue to do with it's a related issue to Steam. As soon as I restart Steam, I can actually hear myself and record things, which is rather frustrating when that happens. But you know, it's going to happen anyway. So what have I been doing? Well, I've decided to get myself a new camera to do my close-up videos of different things, like being able to build a machine and build machines, like stuff like that. Basically, it was a Samsung 20 megapixel camera, which is going to be able to take better photos as well. So to be able to do a few snapshots and nature shots and stuff, and I got a lenses kit for it as well. Just basically because may as well get it anyway. Look, I mainly got it because my other camera doesn't have a very high pixel density. It's only 16 megapixel. It does pretty well. I'm actually going to give that to my dad, and he's going to use that for his eBay most likely. Yes, most likely, yeah. Or in combination using it for that, he'll also use it for family photos and vacations and things like that. But I'm going to give him my old camera in any case, and I'm upgrading to a new one. It's pretty much it is a digital SLR camera. It's sort of the same or similar features to what my old one had, except it's a higher megapixel. Supposed to be a better sensor in general. You can detach the lenses and take the lenses off, basically, which it's pretty cool, which I thought was a good feature. Basically, it's the entirety of the camera. This is actually find the damn camera. I'll actually see if I can find it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm thinking to myself, well, I hadn't upgraded my camera for a while. So I figured, yeah, why the hell not? Anyways, a Samsung, it's not a real, I mean, it's an up-to-date model. It's got higher megapixels than my last camera, but at the same time, it's an older camera, so it's an older model. So I actually I got it pretty damn cheap too. I got it for a good price. I think it was like $267 or something like that. So this is the camera that I'm talking about here. So I'll show you the review on CNET. It's the NX20, which is pretty much an offshoot of being basically what you would classify. I mean, originally the actual cost of this camera was over $1,000 when it first came out. I got it for about 200 and something now these days. The surprising thing is it does a nice job with photos. I've seen some of the actual photos that it takes, and I've seen some of the actual camera work it does with the 1080p camera that it has built in. It's got very sharp stuff. It's got built-in Wi-Fi too, so you can actually transfer your images across Wi-Fi or even onto your phone. I think you can actually remote control it with your phone if you choose to, or if you want to. The camera itself, I mean, I think I ended up paying about 267 at the time. I think, 267, which was a nice price at the time. I thought it was pretty cool. Bar the postage. The postage was a reasonable amount at the time anyway, but it's probably about, I think for the shipping it was about $20, 25, maybe a bit more. Maybe 40 or something like that. But anyway, I mean, by the time you factor in shipping and everything else, it wasn't too bad. It still didn't come out too expensive at the end of it. About the same price I paid for my other camera, which is only 16 megapixel. So considering that it probably came out about the same price, or a little bit cheaper, around the same price, roughly the same price, I'm quite happy with that end result. On top of that, I got an extra lenses kit for it, for extendable lens stuff and filters, different filters and things like that. Also, I'm picking up a new mic for doing my YouTube, and in combination, a lot of my stuff that I do on my computer. The mic I got at the moment is an MXL Tempo, which is okay. It's not a bad microphone, don't get me wrong, but this one that I looked at, it's the ice blue one, I think you call it. But, you know, sorry, I apologise. You know, that's the thing. That's the thing. Basically, look, it is a very, very, very good. Generally speaking, it's a very, very good camera. So I mean, you know, I was thinking, well, why the hell not? I haven't upgraded my camera for a while. This is being able to take better photos and better shots and stuff, and do even nature shots and things like that if I want to do them. So yeah, anyway, I got that. What else did I end up picking up? Did I end up picking up anything else? Not really, no. I've mostly been trying to get my settings to configure correctly, get my frame rates right. I've noticed that since I've updated to the latest driver from NVIDIA, a lot of issues are being fixed in the sense of frame rates and stuff, because I was having a drop in frame rates in certain aspects. I've also dropped my recording settings to 1080p, even though I have a 4K monitor. Generally just dropping it to 1080p makes things run a bit smoother, just when you're doing recordings and stuff. And generally speaking, most of the time, it's just easy to do it in 1080p, because by the time I would try and actually upload an actual 4K video, it would take for fucking ever on my connection, because my connection's a piece of ass. It's a piece of shit to start with, and I would love a better connection, to be truthful. In the entire situation, that would be perfect. I would love it. I would just love a better connection. But it's basically something I have to wait out. So anyway, that's the camera I was basically going after. I also got a new mic, which is a Blue Ice. I think they call it a Blue... What is it? A Blue Ice. It's called Blue anyway. It's one of those Blue mics. It's basically like a condenser mic, same as the one I've got, or similar to the one I've got, except it's a better quality one, basically. It's supposed to have a bit more pickup than this one. I mean, this one has pickup, but not as much as this other one that I bought anyway. And it wasn't overly expensive either. Figured, you know, I wanted something a little more professional. Something a little more kicks my voice a bit more, you know, a bit more clearer, a bit more presumptuous sort of thing. So yeah, those are two things. Aside from that, I've just been doing my own thing mainly. Of late, I've just mainly been recording some gameplay videos. I did some Xbox Live. I did some Xbox GTA 5 footage. I just ranted for about the different issues that I've been having over the past few weeks, especially when it comes to trying to configure things, which has been an absolute pain in the ass when you don't know which piece of software is affecting which thing specifically, until eventually you figure it out, and then it's just like, fuck, really? Damn, like, just don't know. It gets a little frustrating, to be truthful. I have to configure I did actually end up getting a microscope. But the problem with the microscope is, unfortunately, it's not as sharp as I would want it to be. I have to do a few calibrations on it. It only runs on a Windows 7 machine, so I'm going to see if I can actually get something that's a little more... I didn't pay much for it. I mean, it was only like $30 or something like that, and it wasn't overly expensive at the time. That I didn't think, you know, as I said, to me, that wasn't really overly expensive. No, it was less than that. It might have been $20. That's my point. It wasn't a very expensive microscope to start with. Now, it's more the case of calibrating it on a Windows 7 machine, but I want to see if I can actually get one that's going to work on a Windows 8 machine, or just generally a microscope that would work with Windows 8 regardless. Hopefully. Now, that's in the future, of course, but I won't get that for a while. I'm going to wait off and, you know, let things settle, let the dust settle a bit, and try out my new camera and stuff and muck around with that. I'm probably going to muck around and have a bit of fun with that, you know. Just sort of see, just have a bit of fun with it, go photo crazy pretty much, go a bit video crazy, do some videos, maybe some in-depth videos and stuff on a tripod. I've also got a smaller tripod, which was actually for a new telescope that I brought. Was a little spotting scope. That spotting scope, it had a little tripod. Now, this little tripod, I can actually sit over the top of smaller items like motherboards and things like that, and actually get close-in shots of things with, of course, obviously with my new camera, I'm going to try that out and test that out, and probably give a bit of a review on the camera and just give you a gist of how it works, and a bit of a rundown of what quality it comes up to. Aside from that, no, I've just been mainly just doing my own. I've been doing my own stuff lately. I've also been talking to my girlfriend in combination of that, talking to friends, generally speaking, doing my bit of business, doing my there goes doing my YouTube videos, basically. My alarm, yes, and my watch goes off. Doing my YouTube videos mostly. Combination of showing you some of the things that I get around to doing when I'm doing YouTube videos, and taking apart, pulling apart machines, putting machines back together. Dusting out machines. I've actually recently got an air compressor, so that's something that's added to my genre now of being able to clean computers out and things like that. I should probably clean my computer out, which I haven't been majorly miffed lately. It's been running pretty well, so I'll probably end up doing it maybe on the week, maybe during the week, depending on my mood. But yeah, basically, I've just been trying to do my own thing, trying to stick to my own stuff, and trying to stay focused on what I'm really getting into, the stuff on my channel. I mean, some stuff, it's going to be in the case. I mean, I think I showed a bit, not a benchmark, but I showed a case that I was running stuff on my bench, basically on my workbench. I was running computer, pretty much the board just naked, with the graphics card plugged in and everything else, and a few bits of RAM and stuff. I'll probably end up upgrading that, and I'm probably going to end up selling that computer on as a reconditioned computer. Aside from that, what else am I going to do? These days, let's see, the plans that I make, or the things that I plan to be doing. A few more gameplay videos, definitely. I haven't bought any real new games of late, so everything is going to be from my original collection, so I might go back on some classic games, for example, probably some indie type games, which there is a few indie games in my collection, so I might even actually pull up a few just to play them through and see what they're like. I think I played Duke Nukem Forever. I know Duke Nukem. I've got Duke Nukem the original off Steam as well. So I mean, I've got a fair few games that I can run through. Maybe do a few levels and things like that. Working with a few different machines and things of those nature, or things of that nature. It's been a sort of big up and down week. I've had a couple of, well, not stresses. I don't know. I was mean to someone close to me, and yeah, I wasn't necessarily mean. I was too focused. I was too stressed, and I took it out on the person that was around me, and I think it was a bit stupid that I did it, and I was aware that I did it, and I ended up just feeling crappy about it for about 2 or 3 days. So I just, didn't feel like doing much because I was a bit depressed. At that point, I was just feeling, downward spiral, and just, Now I'm not too bad. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty up. Could be a little more upwards, I guess. But I'm getting there. I'm getting back up to the level I was on. Yeah, so I'm working on things. I'm slowly getting there, and pretty much just working my way through some of the teething issues I've had with my SLIs, which, as most people would know, that's been giving me the right royal shits with all the problems I have been having in the sense of software. It basically came down to a stupid driver issue between my network card and my graphics card driver. So, yeah, shit happens. It's just going to happen regardless, so you can't really do much about it. So I just went, screw it. I'm just going to see how things pan out. So I fixed that now. I've installed the latest Realtek driver, and everything seems to be working a lot better now. Aside from that, I'm feeling pretty good otherwise. I'm feeling pretty focused most of the time. There are those moments where I don't feel as focused. I have not actually slept today, which today it's about 10 a.m. now. By my clock, it's about 10 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't sleep last night. I just sat up and vegged and watched some Family Guy pretty much, and just chilled, and pretty much, yeah, my mind was pretty much active all night, and I talked to my girlfriend for a bit, and yeah, basically just chilled, or tried to chill anyway. It is a Saturday here, so, you know, don't always get a lot of customers on a Saturday. I may get a few, I don't know. But yeah, that's been pretty good. Okay, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube. This is just a general video, catch-up video. I would call it my catch-up video of just things that have happened recently and developments in different situations of things that I've decided to sort of upgrade and go for. And then, so the other side of the spectrum is that I'm also trying to be a bit more budget conscious these days. So I'm only spending money that is essential to my business at the moment, and I have to sort of put off the real big luxury items if I really want them in a given situation. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube. Please like, subscribe, stay tuned to my channel. Definitely got more videos coming up. It's probably going to involve a combination of different things. Most likely I'll be doing some videos on the build that I started to test initially, and I'll be doing that. I'll be showing the case I'm going to build it into, in combination with the case I'm going to be building it into, hard drives I'm going to be putting into it, you know, basically just stuff that I'm going to be mucking around and putting into it, and pretty much everything I'm going to be, you know, going down to it anyway. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Do subscribe. Do make a comment. If you want to make comments, feel free, people. I'm not against comments. Comments don't really bother me that badly most of the time. If you want a question answered, I'm always happy to help and always happy to answer a question. Yeah, so all good. Anyway, thank you very much, YouTube, and please stay tuned to my channel. Son of a fucking asshole. I just have to say that, sorry. I was a little pissed then because I was actually trying to do some creative stuff. Anyway, I was looking at technology and I was talking about my philosophical outlook on life, just as a general conversation starter. So I was talking about all the latest technology that's going to be coming out. There's going to be some great technology in the future. Well, we've got the fact that we've got the tractor beam, warp ships, which I thought was an interesting little article I read. NASA basically developing warp ships, the ability to be able to go at warp speed, things like that, supposedly. This is the premise of it anyway. I don't know the entire science involved behind the situation, but I know it looks fascinating and it looks interesting. Be something good to be actually study up on and go the whole direction with it. So I looked at that and I'm sitting there and going, that is fucking cool. All I'm waiting for is freaking teleportation devices. That would be great to have a teleportation device. It would save me trying to get from one country to another, you know, basically having to use a fucking plane all the time. Now, the irony of that is, though, there's a lot of good technologies coming out. There's military technologies, exoskeletons, for example, robotic technology, which looks fascinating, by the way. Damn, there's just some of the technology is looking absolutely fantastic. What it's going to represent for the future, how it's going to work, things that, you know, generally all this stuff looks, yeah, it looks pretty gnarly. Pretty much my best description I could give. Aside from that stuff, what other stuff looks really interesting? Well, I've looked at, I don't know, I've looked at a little margin of different articles online. I've also looked at these fucking fake scam articles which piss me off. I don't like people who scam people. Well, not scam them really, it's more of a hoax system where they hoax people into thinking that, oh, you know, Ebola's here and this is that. I mean, for fuck's sake, look, half of these freaking articles, you know, if you fact check them yourself, you will find they're just all a big load of horse shit, to be honest. So, you know, I mean, most of the time, you can, yeah, nah, just, as I said, you're best off doing your own research when it comes to finding stuff on your newsfeed, whether it be on Facebook or other things of that nature. I have fact-checked some things, and some things I don't. Some things I just post to see what reaction I actually get out of people, to see what they'll actually say. But in a given situation, you know, it's also getting it from a credible news source as well, or a scientific-based news source, or something along those lines, basically. At the end of it, you know, you got to use your brain a bit, basically. So, yeah. At the same time, on the other side of the spectrum, people posting things like, oh, you know, you'll get your blood cleaned of Ebola by injecting yourself with bleach. I hate to say it, but there are some people who are that idiotic that they would do that. So it's just a bad fucking idea to do that in the first place. It's a bad idea to, you know, basically do that to somebody. You tell them to do something like that. You just, I don't know, it just feels, that's just mean and sadistic, to be honest. That's fucking, yeah, something totally fucking dark shit, you know. Or dark people, anyway. In the sense of that stuff, what else? I've mucked around with... What have I mucked around with these days lately? I've been mucking around with on and off. Alright, well, I've been looking at different science articles. There's always some fascinating stuff in science articles. And some fascinating stuff coming in the scientific level these days. Whether it be new warp ships or the fact that we're going to colonize Mars or, you know, terraforming a planet or something of that description. I mean, basically, you know, coming across that type of stuff in science particularly. There's a lot of technology in Star Trek that we've almost actually got now. And there's a lot of stuff that was inspired by Star Trek, and I do love my Star Trek. I'm a big nerd that way. Aside from Star Trek, I love my Doctor Who too. What else? I mean, there's a big margin of things that I really love in the scientific community that are looking great, you know. At the same time, of the other side of the spectrum, there's also some things that I see online that make me lose faith in the human race. For that, probably about at least 2 or 3 days when I've seen them, and just the way that some people... Look, it's not everybody. And I mean, you know, sure, we can keep these people around for entertainment value because, you know, fuck... If they're going to do something that dumb, really, like, why would you do that? You know, what was going through your mind? What intelligent thought at all was going through your mind when you thought about that? I don't know. As I said, that's something that not pisses me off. It just annoys me that people can be that stupid with some things. I mean, then there's people trying to purposely troll people to actually be that stupid. But there's also they can't all be freaking trolls, ladies and gents. They cannot all be trolls. There has to be at least a few of them that are actually real and true. And you just sit there and go, wow, damn, some of this, you know, just makes you scratch your head. Makes me scratch my head, and, you know, sometimes it actually lowers my IQ when I actually look at some of this stuff for about a millisecond. I mean, you know, I've got a high IQ to start with, but it actually lowers some of my IQ just to try and think on the level that these people think on with some things. And look, it's not everybody. It's not everybody. There's quite a big or large amount of people who are vastly intelligent and have enough common sense to fact check things or go back and, you know, make sure that something looks right before they fix it up. But there's also the other side of the spectrum, which is the complete and utter fuckwits that just, yeah, damn, just no comment. I mean, I act like a bit of an, around my friends I act like a bit of an idiot, but I do that on purpose just because I like to play around and, you know, annoy my friends. Basically I like to annoy my friends. That's just who I am. I can be a naturally annoying person with some things. I just like doing it that way. But, I mean, to be honest, and the truth of the situation is I'm actually quite intelligent, and, you know, I have a good sense. I have a good sense of right and wrong. I have a good moral compass. Aside from having a good moral compass, I also have a good, you know, outlook on life too, most of the time. Unless I'm really feeling depressed, then, you know, it's just all negative, and that's all I feel. Then, the other side of the spectrum, let's talk about religion. I don't know, look, I'm not impartial. I don't go against any particular religions. Religions, you know, ultimately, if they make somebody better, I'm all for that shit, you know. I'm all for somebody being better. But I'm not for a religion trying to cause a war or start a war or incite some violent act. It just, you know, I don't know. The whole concept. I mean, look, I don't really have a religion. I mean, I used to be Catholic formerly. But to be honest, the truth of the situation is I consider myself an agnostic atheist because I believe there's a lot of scientific answers out there, but at the same time I do believe there's certain parts of the universe and certain things that we can't necessarily explain. Or we could explain, or we probably have to explain them in a philosophical way and be open to the possibility of things happening, or there being something in the universe that we cannot necessarily quite explain or give tangible proof or scientific evidence of. So, there might be things in the universe that we're not necessarily deemed to explain automatically, and there's some things we think, well, okay, hold on a second, you look at some of the stuff that goes on and you think, well, is there a God, I mean, look, my thing is, it's the universe. The universe has a balance ultimately. It balances it, between negative and positive depending on the situation. And I believe, I guess you could say in the context of evil, good or evil, as per se to that answer, good or evil, in my mind, is, positive or negative. So you've got positive things that influence people positively, and you've got negative things which influence people negatively. And in my mind, it's basically whatever balance at the time the universe is going, or whatever direction of the balance of energy is that the universe is going in, basically. So, But look, at the end of that's just something I think as a personal thing. At the other side of the spectrum, there's some people, I can understand being kind to people. I can understand an act of kindness goes a long way. At the same time, some people don't deserve kindness. I mean, I don't mind being kind to somebody and being helpful to somebody if they're deserving of it in a given situation, but if they're not deserving of it, or in the sense they've done a lot of wrong to people, in the sense of screwing people over, whether it be scamming or whatever they may have done, particularly if they've been an asshole in one way or another, or a bitch in maybe another way, but I do believe there's also a sense of karma and justice to the universe itself. It's the irony that something happens because it happens, because it was meant to happen in certain circumstances. But at the same time, on the other side of the spectrum, I believe science has a lot of good answers. It has a lot of relative answers to most of the questions that I want, especially when it comes to my technology stuff. And a lot of the future technologies is going to be very interesting to see what direction they go in, how science progresses, how religion progresses with science. Because I believe, to be honest, religion and science could probably work together if they really, really need to. And I don't think there's anything wrong with science and religion working together to better each other in a sense, and I don't know. I think the two could be compatible if they gave it a chance. Not totally compatible. I mean, there's no total compatibility level with religion and science purely, but, I honestly think there could be some compromises, per se. But yeah, no. I mean, that's just something I personally feel. That's just my opinion on that type of stuff. I mean, there's good and bad people in the world. Not everybody's bad. There's going to be some negative people, and there's probably some psychosomatic people. I mean, inherently, most human beings can be psychosomatic at some point in their damn life, alright? And, people are going to be crazy at some... I mean, people are going to do crazy things, and people are going to do stupid things. And people are always, inherently, the system's not perfect, and people aren't perfect either. So, as long as you can get it marginally right most of the time, you're doing pretty well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now, YouTube. I just thought I'd have this little discussion on tech and stuff like that. But some of the interesting... Look, there's going to be some really cool technology. There's also a holodeck technology, I think, that came out... when the hell was it? There was a holodeck technology that came out from Dutch or Swedish scientists. It's basically working on the premise of virtual reality, like the Oculus Rift type thing. But the thing about the Oculus Rift and things of that nature is that it's sort of limited in what its ability is. I'd like something like Star Trek, but I don't know whether that would actually ever come true in my lifetime anyway. So, So I'm going to leave it there anyway. Thank you very much, YouTube. Stay tuned for more technology sort of things. I'll probably even do some philosophical stuff, because I love doing philosophical stuff. Or, having a philosophical outlook towards whether it be religion or... politics, I'm an open-minded person. At the same time, I'm gonna have moments where, especially with politics, and particularly with some types of religion stuff, I'm gonna have a pissed off view as well. So it varies with me. But I'm a person who examines the facts of what I've got and absorb what I've absorbed through different articles. And the truth of the other truth of the matter is that especially if you're reading a lot of stuff online, you take every single thing that you read online with a grain of salt, or at least a heaping teaspoon, depending on the article and where the article is based. So not everything that you read on the internet is always gospel, or per se. It's not always tangible. Factual. That's another fact too. It's not always factual. As I said, it's not tangible either, but at the same perspective of it all, it's good to read through this stuff because it makes you think. It doesn't get you stuck in one mindset. It doesn't make you into a sheep who just doesn't question anything, because at the end of it, you have to be able to question. You have to be able to question things. You have to be able to question whether it's your government, your religion, people around you. You have to be able to question things. There is nothing wrong with asking a question. There is nothing wrong with not being the sheep and going a particular way. If you don't want to go that way, if you choose not to go that way, that is your choice. You do not have to follow the crowd all the time or follow a particular set of people in a given situation. So at the end of it, you be your own individual. You be who you want to be at the core, and that's where you get your true self. That's where you get truly who you are as a person, and truly what you want to be at the end. So, anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube. Subscribe, comment if you like on my channel. If you've got any more comments on different things I could talk about and stuff, especially when it comes to tech. I mean, I don't know. Look at these fascinating technologies. There's also some interesting. There's a new supercomputer they're developing, which is going to be able to do so many billions upon trillions of calculations, which I think I talked about it a while back. When it was from some of the development, I think it was from HP that they actually decided to develop. I mean, I don't know. Most of this technology, some of it's far away, some of it might be sooner and closer than you think. And as I said, it's all there. It is inherently there. There's also the fact that there is a real hoverboard. The hoverboard in the Back to the Future 2 is actually, well, there's a formal version of it. It only works on particular surfaces, so it will hover, but it will only hover on particular surfaces. So yeah, that's the downside. It's not as perfected as we would want it, say, from the actual version that you saw in Back to the Future 2. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Stay tuned, YouTube. I've got some. I don't know, I'll probably have some gameplay videos coming up maybe shortly, depending on my frame of mind. And maybe I should get a bit of sleep, because I haven't had any sleep today. I've been awake since last night, so I've been up all night. And it's about 10:56 AM, so I'm sort of black, getting there, but not doing too bad. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, YouTube, and please stay tuned to my channel and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Google Plus, follow me on Twitter, Google Plus, and Facebook. Yeah, if you choose to. Up to you anyway. But yeah, always on there, always love to have new friends and shit, so it's all good. Okay, thank you very much, YouTube, and catch ya. Bye.